Pipikit. A book about living, growing, and creating a meaningful life. Written by Ekapat Yahorm. This is Chapter 1, The Day We Begin to Know Ourselves. If you would like to read the complete book, Pipikit is available on Amazon Kindle and MEB. Now, let's begin. People often begin life by trying to become what others expect. We study because people tell us we should. We work because we need an income. We choose certain things because we are afraid of what the people around us will say. By the time we finally ask ourselves what we truly want, a great deal of time may already have passed. Knowing ourselves is therefore not merely a beautiful idea in a book. It is something that can keep us from spending too long living in the wrong direction. In real life, self-knowledge often comes after trying many things. We may have chosen a path that did not suit us, followed other people, or believed that we had to be a certain kind of person before discovering that what we truly wanted was much simpler. Knowing ourselves does not mean that we must immediately know what we like most. We can begin by noticing what gives us energy, what makes us unnecessarily tired, and what we are willing to work hard at even when nobody tells us to. When we observe these things repeatedly, patterns begin to appear, and those patterns can point us in a direction better than general advice can. Knowing what we do not want can be just as valuable as knowing what we want. Removing what does not fit gives our time and energy back to the things that matter. Some people discover themselves late because they are afraid that changing direction means admitting that everything they did before was wrong. But life is not an exam where an answer, once written, can never be changed. If new information shows us that the old path no longer fits, changing direction thoughtfully is a form of courage, not failure. Do not try to build your identity only from what other people like about you. If you are confident only because people praise you, you may become afraid of the day when the praise disappears. But if you know where your own values lie, you become more secure. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, in what way is this happening in my life, and what small thing can I choose to do starting today? One thing to watch out for is building your identity from other people's praise. When the praise decreases, we may no longer know what is left of us. Building pride through actions that are aligned with our own values allows us to stand even when nobody is applauding. As we understand ourselves better, many decisions no longer need to be guided so heavily by the voices around us. We begin to know which advice to accept and which advice to set aside. Knowing ourselves also means knowing what drains our energy unnecessarily. When we observe ourselves repeatedly, we begin to see our patterns and can arrange our lives to fit them better. We do not have to force ourselves to become someone we are not simply to meet other people's expectations. In everyday life, accepting where we are today and beginning to build from what we truly have means that we do not have to change everything at once. We can choose one thing within our control and work on it consistently. The change may be so small that other people do not notice, but if we continue, it will gradually change the way we think, decide, and live over the long term. This chapter is not asking us to view life through a single answer. It asks us to observe ourselves through real events. What can we control here? What should we accept? What should we take action to change? Questions like these can turn something that looks enormous into something we can handle one step at a time. One thing to remember from this chapter is that we do not have to wait for life to change before we change ourselves. A small action today is the beginning of a result tomorrow. When we keep acting consistently, we begin to see that we have more choices and do not have to let circumstances determine our entire lives. When we look back at what this chapter has asked us to notice, we do not have to do everything at once. Choose one thing you can control and keep doing it, because meaningful change often grows from the small things we are willing to repeat on the days when nobody sees. Thank you for listening to Chapter 1 of Pipikit. If you would like to read the complete book, you can find Pipikit on Amazon Kindle and MEB. I hope to see you again in the next chapter.